I'm sure everybody here knows me, but I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Natalia Martin. I am in South Carolina, and until last week, I worked for a car dealership. With all of this COVID-19, I just really felt like it was time to kind of put my master's degree into use and to step into what honestly I've been avoiding for the past 6 years. Life coaching is what we're doing. The website is natalia-martin.com. All the information's there. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible when it comes to pricing, when it comes to expectations, when it comes to who I am and all that stuff. You know exactly what you're getting, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask, because I want to go into this with very clear expectations and very high transparency. I feel like in this day and age, it's kind of people are not transparent. Either that or they're trying to like make you feel like they're an expert at something, or they have it more together than you do and stuff like that. So I want to share what I know, but I also want you guys to know what you're getting yourselves into. And there's actually a community on the website as well. I call it the Hive. My dream is that you guys would interact with each other and kind of build each other up instead of, so the relationship is not me to you, it's also you guys with each other as well. And that kind of gives you even more opportunities to get support and to get help, to get encouragement from your peers as well. All right, so the first question I'll cover is the very obvious one. What is life coaching? So the textbook definition of a life coach is a trained professional that helps people get from where they are to where they want to be. So it is present to future. So basically what I do is I support clients in identifying, managing, and achieving their personal and professional goals. We come alongside people, we partner with people to help them identify and build on their opportunities and their strengths, and to find ways to effectively cope with challenges in order to achieve their goals and dreams. So that's just the basic textbook definition of a life coach. So it's a partner, it's a person that steps into your present and helps you move into the future in a very deliberate way, and in a way that you want to see, happening. I'm about to get attacked by a cat. Help. Okay. Anyway. So the other obvious question is, what is the difference between coaching and counseling? And there's a very distinct difference. Basically, a life coach focuses primarily on the future when it comes in, as it relates to the present, essentially. So basically, we use self-development in the present to affect the future. The contrast, Macy, seriously right now? Okay. No, get out. Jeez. Anyhow, let's see. By contrast, counseling or therapy is focused on fixing thoughts and beliefs related to past events, so you can cope or be effective in the present. So it's not future-based at all. It's not talking about goals and dreams. It's about coping and figuring out how to survive in the present. Dealing with childhood trauma, stuck thoughts, all of that stuff, to kind of figure out how to get from -10 on the continuum to 0, essentially. And then once you get to 0, where, you know, things are okay, you're not actively sick, you don't have a mental illness, you don't have any issues related to coping or anything like that, then you can start coaching and kind of projecting into the future and dreaming into the future and going from the present to the future. And that's where coaching kind of kicks in. So it's more of a positive psychology. We're focused on futuristic events and how to be more effective going into the future. I don't know. Give me some feedback. Is that clear? Are you guys understanding that? Do you have any questions related to that yet? What do you think? Okay. All right. So I'm going to assume that that was fairly clear. The trick is that coaching and counseling are kind of on two ends of a spectrum. It's not two sides of a coin, it's two ends of a spectrum. So you can't really separate those two. You know, so like you have to go from -10 to 0 and then from 0 to +10, right? So you can't separate counseling and coaching. It's just coaches. What I want to do basically is just focus on that positive aspect of it. I don't necessarily want to focus on fixing what's broken. I want to make what's working work better. Does that make sense? All right. So let's see. History of life coaching. So I have to throw that in here because I think a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about what life coaching is. And, you know, we kind of get it confused with, let's see, like positive psychology even. We have it confused with a lot of different other things. And people assume it's more like sports coaching where you're going in and you're like, rah, rah, you know, and getting people to do what you want and doing push-ups. And, you know, if you don't do this task, we're going to make you do push-ups. And I can totally do that. If that motivates you, I'll do that, you know. But for most people, it's a little bit less action and a lot more awareness, you know. And it's a lot more of changing your thoughts and changing your perspective so that your thoughts don't jeopardize your actions, you know. Let's see. So the history, it's a relatively new industry. In fact, the concept of life coaching was actually developed in the 1980s by a guy named Thomas Leonard. I'm not going to go really deep into it, but Thomas Leonard essentially was a finance planner, and so he became a life advisor. So it was just basically people that were doing great. They just wanted to get better. They wanted to, you know, plan for their futures. They wanted to do better as far as being intentional with their goals and their dreams and stuff like that. And he helped people do that. And so in the 1990s, he actually came up with Coaching University that that taught other people how to coach. So essentially, you're talking about a 40-year industry here. Still in its infancy, and there's a lot of snake salesmen, unfortunately, out there, and so it's a buyer beware kind of industry. Fortunately, it's one of those things you're not dealing with, you know, people that, you know, are broken, that need medicine and stuff like that. It's people that are doing okay. They just want to do great. And so I think the best judge of a good coach is looking at their results and seeing if they're effective with their clients, you know, and having a coach that actually can measure measure progress and stuff like that, and has an effective way to measure your progress, is one of those things that you should look for, because numbers don't lie. If you came in here and you're here, you know exactly how effective the process was. And if you go in here now, I do have to tell you, like, if you go in here, sometimes you go here before you can go here, and you have to kind of be aware of that. So you have to commit to the process, and you have to kind of trust the process a little bit. But if you're doing this for 3 or 4 months and you are staying the same, which is the worst, or progressively getting worse, then my advice or my recommendation would be to seek counseling instead of seeking out coaches. Because I feel like there's something else that might be going on. May not be necessarily the coach's fault, but the coach may be exacerbating the situation, and you're just not where you need to be. So don't do what doesn't work, basically. That's my advice. So that's it for the history. You guys can read up more about it and stuff later if you want to, but when it comes to the history, it's just, you guys have to be aware that it's a 40-year industry, and there's still a lot of people figuring it out, and so you just have to be careful. Let's see. Speaking of the fact that it was a relatively new industry, there are no legal requirements. Like, you don't have to be licensed in any state to practice. You don't really need a certification. Actually, on Facebook earlier today, there was an ad that said that I could get certified to become a life coach for $25 in one day. I was like, are you serious? Like, that's legit. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad, but that is what it is. And I have to kind of point that out to you guys. Like, you do have to kind of really question, hey, where did this person go to school? B, does their life reflect that they're in a position to help somebody? Or let's see, are they really clear on their method? Are they very clear on what they want to do, in their lives, and how they think they can help you and stuff like that? So be very cautious, and definitely take that initial consultation to ask all your questions from the life coach. Hopefully me. You can ask me all the questions. Okay? So let's see. As far as my qualifications, I do have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I went to USC, and then I transferred over to the University of Southern Maine, and I graduated with my bachelor's in psychology. And then I got my master's in human services counseling with an intensive in life coaching from Liberty University a couple years ago. So I have about 10 years of school under my belt, and my life has been completely transformed in the past 8 years. I went from poverty to single parenthood to just, oh gosh, I was just a hot mess. But life is completely different, and it is amazing to see your life transform if you just try, and you're self-aware, and you keep progressing, you keep making steps in the right direction. It really does. It really is kind of like a miracle. Like you're walking into one miracle after another. It's just like, wow. I'm going to try this. Wow, that actually worked. I'm going to try this. Wow, that actually worked. Well, that didn't work. I need to try something else. But you kind of have to walk through it, and you have to progress, and you have to keep trying. And having a support system around you, especially a support system that's trained and that can point out, inconsistencies and issues with thinking, and keep you accountable, and also to encourage you and stuff like that. That is one of the biggest things to lifestyle change and stuff. And that's kind of where I want to step in and help in that process with everybody. Let's see. So different styles of coaching. There are a ton of different styles of coaching. There's like intuition coaching where you it's almost like a mystical experience. And then you have, on the other end of the spectrum, you have the autocratic, which is kind of like a football coach, essentially. So it's like very disciplined. You do as I say, a highly structured training almost. So there's a different types of life coaches out there. The type of life coaching I hope to do is it's called transformational coaching. So the formula, the basic formula for transformational coaching is clarity, and then plus confidence, and then plus action equals transformation. That's kind of that little formula that you have. So my job will be, to help you help provide clarity to the situation, kind of talk through issues, brainstorm ideas, come up with ways to monitor and measure progress, that sort of thing. So provide clarity around an issue that you want to change, and then also build up your confidence in it. So figure out ways to make small successes happen, so you are convinced of your own ability to do something. Because I truly believe that everybody is able to do anything. It's just a matter of figuring out, do they really want to do that thing, or do they want to work that hard? Because it reaching a goal requires you to become something, and it requires you to become that person that has the ability to do that thing you're trying to do. And so if it's something that you've never done before, you may not think you have no evidence yet that you are that person, and you're not faking it till you make it. I feel like that's a huge misconception for a lot of people, that they have to fake it till they make it. No, they have to become the person that knows it's possible, and then they bring that out in their own behavior. So you're not ever faking anything. And I think part of that process is becoming very clear on what you want, and making a commitment to yourself, to becoming a certain person, and a certain person that exhibits the trait that you want to exhibit. So definitely great for that. If you guys have any questions along the way, please ask. Is this helpful? I don't know if I'm going off on too many tangents. Will was kind of warning me about going off on tangents. Tanya, you said something about to relay that experience. What do you mean? Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe she'll clarify a little bit later, and I can do that. But let's see. So primary technique that I use in coaching. There's a ton of techniques, and my personal favorite for my own personal self-development is journaling. That's why I plan on doing, a bunch of guided journals, and I know that it takes at least 28 days to create a habit, so I want to create these very focused journals that are at least 30 days long for certain topics. you know so you can create those habits by journaling like I do. But the reason why the journaling piece works for me is because of this technique that I use. It's called NLP. So NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's basically a technique that allows you to focus on words and language and how you put language together and stuff like that to really identify issues with thought and really become aware of what your perceptions are about a subject and how you feel about certain things. So as you talk or as you write, the stuff that comes to mind, if you're just letting it flow, is the stuff that is in your mind. And so once you write it and then you read it and you're like, oh, I didn't realize I thought that way. So a lot of times when we're thinking or even when we're talking, we're not hearing ourselves. So we're not aware of what we're saying. So, seeing our words on a page or, hearing them recorded or seeing them on video or having another human being, kind of stop us and say, okay, you said this. Explain what this means. You know what I mean? Like, that is very, it teaches you a lot about yourself. Like I was watching an interview with John Mayer one time, and he was talking about his songwriting. He said, sometimes I speak my truth so loudly, I learn from it myself. And I feel like that's kind of how we are. We have to speak our truth so loudly we can learn from it ourselves, and we have to be able to put ourselves in the position of actually hearing our thoughts, because when we're talking, it's all output, so we have to give ourselves a chance to hear what we say. And if you have someone that's a coach, that's someone that's trained to actually hear and listen actively to you, that can be a very powerful process. So I love the process of NLP, and I use NLP in a lot of different ways, through journaling, through writing, through speaking, through just about everything. But it's a very effective process. And it's semi-structured, so you have a way of identifying problems, figuring out how to fix them, figuring out a way to measure how you fix them, and then, evaluating, to see if it actually worked or not. And you just keep trying different things to kind of move you forward in the process and the direction that you're trying to go. So it's definitely a really cool process, and it's an effective process. It's helped me, in a number of different ways in the past 5 years. And my husband is wonderful at it. He's kind of like my coach. He's been incredible at just kind of always questioning, like, okay, you said it like this, like, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? Like, you said this, like, can you explain this? And it sounds very rudimentary or whatever, but like, it's an exercise that we all should be doing, but no one does. No one thinks to do it, and no one does it effectively. So And when I say no one, I don't mean no one. Most people just don't realize that the power that our words have, and the power that they have to motivate us, and the power that they have to demotivate us. So having someone use words very powerfully around you and to you, and teaching you how to use your words just as powerfully, when you talk about yourself, is very transformational. It provides a lot of clarity, and it really builds a lot of confidence, so you can kind of move forward and allow your dreams to kind of unfold that way. So let's see. What can coaches help me with? Anything, really. We're not here to fix mental illness. And sometimes we can identify, stuck thoughts from childhood, and identify areas that need some intensive therapy. You know what I mean? But for the most part, what we do is, if you have a place in your life that's okay, or that you've identified as, oh, this could be so much better. You have this hope, and you have this desire in an area of your life where it could be so much better. Your relationship could be 10 times better. Like, there is a place in my life that can improve. Spirituality, your relationships, your job, your occupation, your career. You're not doing what you want to do, or you're not where you want to be in your life. Those are all areas that you can kind of really strategically come alongside a coach and partner with a coach, and really start creating very effective goals, so you can move forward and progress a lot faster in those areas, and become a little more laser focused, so you're not here and here and here and here. I used to be like this. I used to have, 3 jobs, running a foundation, doing all this stuff, and it was just so much. I was just bogged down by the amount of stuff that I was busy with. And I thought it was all stuff I wanted to do, but 80% of it was a distraction. So finding ways to really hone in on what's important, what your beliefs are, what your values are, what you actually think you can accomplish, and being very strategic about what to pursue when, coming up with a really good game plan and going for it, can be very effective, and you might be one of those people that can go, for 5 different things all at the same time and kick butt in all of them, lose 50 pounds, get a great job, and do this and do that at the same time. Yeah, you could. And there have been people that have done that, but more than likely you'll do it for about 2 weeks, and then you'll quit. And I know this from myself. It's just not a sustainable change. So do you want sustainable change? Do you want transformational change? Or do you want to check something off your list and say, okay, been there, done that, and let's go back to the way things were, And I really hope that there are areas in all of our lives where we think that we can do better. And when you're paying a coach to help you get there, you're a little bit more motivated to actually do the work that is required. When you go to the gym and you hire a trainer, you expect them to kick your tail, and you expect them to be very strategic in how they help you and what you do with them and stuff like that, and giving you feedback and giving you pointers and giving you tools for your toolkit, and figuring out strategies for coping and stuff like that. You expect those things from them, and you work a little bit harder. You allow them to push you a lot farther than you would have had you been doing this on your own. So that's where I want to do. Like, I don't want to be, I have no desire to be like a personal trainer at a gym. Not my thing. But there are areas in life like business, starting a company, relationships is another big thing for me. That I really think that I can really partner with some people and help. And people that are going through a change. Like, I love change. When all this COVID-19 started happening, I even told my husband, I was like, it feels like it's the big scramble. Like, everything is different. Like, there's so many things happening right now that I thought were impossible 6 months ago. Impossible. So, like, if the world is changing, like, I can too. Like, let's lean into that. Like, let's lean into this change. Like, what can we do? Like, what can I do personally to make life better? And what can I change? As far as what I should be doing, or all this stuff. Like, the world is changing. It feels like we're in a cocoon, and you're not a butterfly and you're not a caterpillar. You're somewhere in between. You get to choose what that butterfly looks like, and if you don't like being a caterpillar, change. Just do it. And that's so scary for some people, but for me, it's like, it's exciting and it's fun, and it's just something I lean into. And people are like, oh, you're quitting your job? Like, I've consistently performed in like the top 20% of the sales force over there, and it wasn't like I wasn't doing well, and they wanted me to work there full time. They even offered, to do salary for the time being while all of this stuff was happening. I wanted to change. I felt like it was a season, and it was like this period of change where I had the chance to become something that I've always wanted to be, and so I did, and I really want to help someone else do that too. I really want to help someone else do that too. For me to kind of to give someone that hope, and to give someone the ability to believe that they can change is like the biggest gift that I can give somebody. Like, to me, gifts are not something that someone gives me or whatever. To me, a gift is a new thought, a new way of thinking, or a new idea, or a new hope, or a new value, or something like that. Like, those things for me are the stuff that I value so much, and I want to share that with others. I think it's gonna be good. I'm really excited. I really the $25 introductory section, that is a half an hour where we kind of go through and we talk about your goals and your dreams and stuff like that, and we try to identify places where you want to change, and you feel like you can, and you feel like there's and you have some ideas, or you want some ideas. You want to change, but you don't know how. Like, we'll go through that and we'll figure it out. And if it doesn't work right now, you can't afford it, I get it. We do have the Hive, which is like that online community that I'm trying to build, where you guys can kind of encourage each other, and I'll have challenges there and stuff, and you can sign up on my website to be part of the Hive. You just become a member. Download the Wix app too, because that app is really intuitive. You basically, it acts like a closed Facebook group almost. So it's really kind of cool, and I can build like 30-day challenges or 90-day challenges for you guys, and you guys can kind of share your progress and help each other and stuff like that. So there's a way to have that community and to, you know, grow without having to pay for the sessions. So consider that. Definitely sign up for the initial session, and I did post a code yesterday, but it's Meet Natalia. Just put that in the promo code, MEETNATALIA. Put that in the promo code box when you check out, and that gives you that initial session for free. That way you can talk to me, you know, and see if there's anything I can, you know, shed some light on, or at the very least, we'll catch up, right? I definitely look forward to seeing you guys talk and share that with me, and sign up for those sessions. Let's see. Oh, what happens during life coaching? I mean, I kind of shared that with the NLP and stuff like that, but basically what I do is I listen to you talk, and then I ask you a ton of questions. That's kind of what it is, but basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hear what you want to do. I believe that every person has a measure of faith that is born inside of them, you know, at conception. And they have all of the resources inside of them that they need to actually do anything. So I'm not the expert at your life. I'm not. I am kind of an expert at change, you know, and I have the ability to not be scared of change. So that's what I bring to the table. You know, I love making decisions, and I love encouraging people to make decisions, and I love coming up with ideas that might work, you know, and I want to, you know, talk until you say, you know what, I think I could do that, or, you know, that just might work, or I never knew that about myself. You know, I want to do that with somebody, you know, instead of just telling you what to do. You know, like, it's like a mentor, but I'm not mentoring you in any field. I can't mentor you at your own life. Basically, I give you the tools that you need related to change. So I have a lot of change tools. I have a lot of methodologies that I've studied related to change, and how you can process change, and how you can create a change cycle and do it effectively, and stuff like that. So I bring that to the table, and that's what I want to do. Let's see. How many coaching sessions? I would say at least 2. Because like the initial one, you kind of have to set the goals, and then you always have to have follow-up. You know, you go to the doctor, for the most part, you know, you go to the doctor if there's an issue that you guys agree to work on, usually there's a follow-up. So that's just a basic thing. Some people need, you know, a follow-up, you know, every month or 2. Some people, if they're trying to build a habit, they need like daily guidance, you know, so it just really depends on what you're trying to do. And the website does have certain packages that kind of describe one or the other, and you can kind of work through what you need there. And obviously we'll talk about that in your consult. You know, if you have anything that you specifically want to do, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how much work is going to be required in accomplishing what you're trying to do. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All right. So the submitted questions that I got earlier on LinkedIn. Oh wait, did I lose you guys? You back? Okay, you're back. All right. Let's see. So, someone asked on LinkedIn, what is the biggest thing you've seen people struggle with during COVID-19? I think the biggest thing that people are struggling with right now is change. Most people, a majority of our lives are kind of on autopilot, and everything is, almost everything's a habit. You know, so you drive to work the same way, you put your pants on the same way every morning, you have the same routine, and this quarantine and everything like that has really just thrown everything out of whack. So people are forced to change, you know, whether they like it or not. And so most people are struggling with that, you know, which is kind of why I almost felt compelled to kind of step into this field, because there's a lot of people that have lost their jobs. There's a lot of people that, you know, just their lives are completely different from where they were, you know, and maybe they don't have the support structure that they had before, you know, for one reason or another. So that's where I kind of want to step in and help. I feel like there's a huge need for that right now. So, you know, there's people that are looking for jobs that have never looked for jobs. There's people that are reevaluating their lives, like, you know, like with the vision boards and stuff like that. Like, I feel like this is a great opportunity for people to really evaluate and make changes in their lives. COVID-19, habit breaking. I'm telling you, it's the big scramble. And either you can pretend it's not happening, or you can fight against it, or you can lean in and see what opportunities are available to you at this time. So if you are not 100% happy with your life, change it. Like, this is the perfect time to change it. I mean, the government just sent us freaking checks. For most of us, I mean, you know, like, you have an opportunity to start a company. You have an opportunity to, you know, lose a few pounds. I'm not losing a few pounds. It's terrible. I'm trying to maintain right now. Most of us are trying to maintain, but I'm just saying, like, the world is your oyster right now. You really have the opportunity to do so many things. So lean into that, and message me. Like, see, let me help. All right. Let's see. What other questions? Virtual online sessions. I plan on doing almost all of my coaching online through Zoom, and over the phone, via text, virtually, essentially. I feel like that actually is more effective than in-person sessions. I feel like if you create steps and obstacles, you know, if you create many steps between you and the coachee and the coach, you know, you are creating obstacles and potentially excuses to stop. So, like, if you can work out in your living room, you'll probably, well, working out is probably a terrible example. Because sorry, I've tried to do those exercises in the living room. Yeah, I do need a boot camp when it comes to working out. Let's see, but if you can get online, you know, and conference like this, you know, and you don't have a commute, you don't have to worry about, you know, the traffic and getting somewhere on time, and you're more likely to actually show up. So I'm trying to remove as many obstacles as possible, and trying to figure out ways that people can actually connect. So it's Zoom. It's so easy. Like, everybody's right here. All you have to do is hit, you know, join meeting, and that's it. So the process is super easy, and I want to really lean into that, like, use that to our advantage, and do everything virtually. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity here. Let's see. Common obstacles that people face that keep them from being successful. It's always thinking. Like, your thoughts are the biggest obstacle that you have. For me, there are certain times in the month that I feel very unmotivated, and I don't want to downplay that, but it is what it is. But honestly, what I find is when I'm feeling unmotivated, it's because I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing. So like, there's stuff that we do that we are unmotivated to do, and I think it is because we're not meant to do it. Like, for example, cooking and cleaning for me. Like, I am very unmotivated to cook and clean. So, I don't. We've figured out ways to like really streamline the process so we don't have to spend a lot of time cooking and cleaning, and it works for us. So that's kind of what I want to do. If you hate doing something, talk to me. We'll figure out how to make it so it's this big in your life, so it's not an obstacle for you anymore. And so you can focus your energy where you want to focus it and do what you actually want to do. All right.